This is PHTV 4. I'm Sue Jankowski. Welcome to Meet with Moraine. As you probably know, I hope we have this show every single month to tell you what's going on at Moraine Valley Community College, which is in Palos Hills. You probably have all been around there visiting, and this is a really great time of year to do that because there's beautiful gardens and grounds that you can walk on and just enjoy. Kind of tour around and see what it's all about if you haven't been over there. We're lucky enough to have someone visit us every month and tell us about something new going on at Moraine Valley. And today we have Klaudia Walkosz. Thank you, Klaudia, for coming in today. Mm-hmm. Klaudia is the Library Student Maker Studio Lab Assistant. So you're probably wondering what a Maker Studio is, and we are going to talk about that in just a minute. Right now, we'd like to know just a little bit about you, Klaudia. Mm-hmm. What brought you to Moraine Valley, and how long you've been there, and how'd you get involved with this?
Right. So I am a former student of Moraine Valley. I got my associates in information technology and computer networking. As you mentioned, the Student Maker Studio. It is a lab with a lot of different technologies such as 3D printing, laser cutting and engraving. We have a Cricut to make things like paper crafts and stickers. And we also have a sublimation printer, so it's kind of like doing these kind of mugs here. Okay. Basically just putting a design on a blank surface, like tote bags and t-shirts and things like that.
All kinds of things. Mm-hmm. Klaudia brought in a bunch of samples of things, and we're going to talk about those
absolutely.
in a minute. I mean, it's just amazing what these maker studios can do. You can do it. I mean, it doesn't seem like you can, but you can do it. And she's going to explain that. Now, the studio's been open for how long?
So we had our grand opening September 25th, 2024. We've been growing a lot since then. We've doubled our number of 3D printers that we offer. We have the new technology, which is like the sublimation. We introduced that about a year ago now. We've also done like a lot of renovating, trying to get more seating for when we host our events so that more people can sit down and enjoy. And we're always working on what the next step is, right? What's our future planning?
So it started out, and then it became very popular.
Yes.
And so more and more people were requesting time in the Maker Lab.
Yes.
And that is why it's growing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess we're going to take some of these things part by part, because I think it's interesting for people to know that they can make these things. But before we do that, because I don't know, I'm thinking maybe our viewers may not know either, what is a sublimation, I don't know, gizmo, machine? I don't even know anything about it.
So sublimation is a special type of printer that applies heat-activated ink onto a special surface. So for example, we have these sublimation mugs with our like tester design on it. You can also do things like coasters as well. So we have the sublimated coaster with a tool album on it. You can also do things like koozies. So this is a drink koozie that a coworker made in the library. So you'll just pop it open and place your drinks for the Super Bowl.
Sprite, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you'd like in there. In my opinion, it's one of the most accessible and easy to use technologies that we offer in the lab because it's very similar to using like a regular printer at home, where you just kind of print on a piece of paper from like a Word document, and then you just tape it onto the surface, and you use a heat press to press the image onto the blank surface. Give it like a minute or so. It depends, like, item by item. And then once it's done, you have your finished little design.
This beautiful personal
Yes.
Gift or item for your own use.
Yes.
Okay, so can anyone come in and use it? I mean, like, I want to make something, so I can just come in and say, I'd like to use this, or do I need like a reservation?
So typically we have appointments. We ask that people make an appointment beforehand. We do have open hours from 1:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, except not on, during the summer, the campus is closed on Fridays. But if you come in during the walk-in hours, it's 50-50, whether someone else might have an appointment at that time, so we won't be able to like serve you. So making an appointment is the best way to come in and get something done.
Yeah, I would think so. That way you know you've got that time and space, and if you need some help, which I'm assuming that for most people, unless they've been there before and done, you know, whichever item they want to utilize, I would assume they need a little tutorial on how to work these machines. Is there always someone there to help them?
Yes, so I am always in the lab to help facilitate and give people a tutorial for whatever they're interested in making. So when people make an appointment, they can choose which patron, essentially. They can choose me, or they could choose my coworker Dan, who also helps out in the lab. So when they make an appointment, they can choose, you know, who they want to help. That also depends on like our schedule and our time as well.
Of course. Do you have a lot of repeat people then coming in?
Many repeat people, yeah. We have a lot of regulars that love to come by the lab, and we love them as well. It's really great seeing people kind of invested in the lab and always trying to, or always wanting to try new things. A lot of people will start off with the sublimation, and then once they kind of, you know, get used to it or they know how to do it, then there's all of the other technologies in the lab that now they want to try as well. So it's kind of, you know, you start with one thing and then you learn the rest.
Okay,
right?
so it's kind of like you know, you dip your feet into the one that maybe comes a little easier, and then as you're there, you look at all these things that you could be making, and you want to try those out too. Actually, it sounds very good for your mind to like try this something new and you know, learn how to do it. What would you say beyond that first step? What are they most attracted to? What do they like to do?
So our most popular technology is, of course, the sublimation, but our second most popular is the 3D printing. So like, for example, we have a lot of students enjoy making like costume props, and we have 3D printers that are large enough to print at those large scales. So like, for example, here we have like a werewolf mask for Halloween. A lot of masks that
That's
people...
just incredible that you can go and make that. I mean, it's so, looks like you could buy it at, you know, a professional mask store or whatever, but you're making exactly what you want with the colors that you want.
Yes.
Now, like, explain to me, when you go into on a 3D printer, are you bringing like a picture of what you want, and then you, I don't know anything about it, so.
It's totally fine. Yeah, so when you are 3D printing, you can either make the file yourself, so you need a 3D model. You can find these online for free or paid. For example, this one was a paid model.
Okay.
Or you can use software to model things yourself. Bamboo, one of the most popular 3D printer, companies right now, has a whole section called Maker Lab, which is a very easy intro to 3D modeling, where they'll kind of give you a basis, like a base to use, and then you can upload your image or whatever you'd like, or you put in your own text, and it'll generate that model for you. Once you have your model, what you'll do is put it into a piece of software called a slicer, because the way 3D printing works is that it builds from the bottom to top.
Okay.
So the slicer slices it into, you know, bottom to top, and essentially gives the 3D printer the coordinates and the settings at like what temperature to print at, and then you plug that code in to the printer and hit go, and it'll start making stuff.
Okay, now it does sound very complex, but I'm sure as you walk the patron through it, it is very explained, and then after you do it a few times, it's not so difficult.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Yeah.
I mean, because this looks incredibly complicated to me, but it's no more complicated probably than any other 3D thing you're making. It's just the size of it that makes it seem.
It's just the size that is daunting, yeah.
Yeah, it is a little daunting, but it's really cool.
Yeah, thank you.
So people then come in and they have an idea about something, and if they really are just all thumbs, I guess you probably give them a lot of guidance at that point.
Totally. Yeah, so a lot of people will come in, and if they know what they're doing, they just kind of come in and I leave them alone, to put it simply, right? They know what they're doing. But absolutely, if someone comes in and has like no prior knowledge or information or just needs a little help, that's what me and Dan are there for, to help explain, or if something goes wrong, we can troubleshoot together, all that kind of stuff.
Now, that 3D printing can take a really long time, is my understanding.
Yes.
So if you're making something very large, even this little guy right over here, you're not going home with that.
No, not within an hour. I believe this total took about, I want to say 30 hours of printing for each part. The most recent print that I did that took about 12 hours is this.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
Thank you, yeah. So.
And that took about 12 hours.
This was about 12 hours of printing, yeah.
So you can make your logo, your family crest, you know, something that's very, very personal to you. Well, that is a really cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, our color scheme, I love it. That's wonderful. So I guess you just leave it. You don't actually stay there for 30 hours watching it.
No.
So you just go and you kind of monitor it, and it can like function on its own with no one there.
Yes. So essentially, once you hit play, you just leave it alone. You can monitor it time to time just to make sure that there's no errors, no. Sometimes things will like to do something we like to call spaghettiing. So when something is 3D printing, they need to be pretty adhered to the bed that it is printing on. And sometimes if the adhesion is not that good, it will pop off. Oh. And then it'll just start kind of spaghettiing all the plastic everywhere.
That's not good.
That's not good, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the other things over here. I'm noticing like this, here's your symbol for your Student Maker Studio right there. I like how you can, you know, collapse it. I mean, this has got a whole back to it that you can make it be like if you need some signage for something at home, or you're having like, you know, a party and you're like, eat cake or something, you know, you can make it. How is this different than like a 3D printer? What do you do to make these wooden type of things?
So the wooden items, they're made with our Glowforge laser cutter. It's a bit different. Still kind of the same, how would I explain it? You still have to put in a file and then give it the settings and then hit play, very much like a 3D printer, except everything is flat instead of being 3D.
Okay.
So you would take the file that you find online or that you make yourself, you place it inside the controller. So for example, Glowforge has their own website that you connect to your laser cutter, put in the files there, change up the settings to make sure that the laser has enough strength to cut through like the wood, the acrylic, the cardboard, the paper, whatever it is that you're cutting. And then you just hit go and it'll start moving on its own and you can leave it alone.
Okay, well, it looks like you can do a lot of designs or frames or, you know, whatever your mind can develop and think.
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of ideas too that you may have for people, or if they look on the internet, like, because I think sometimes it's hard to come up, you know, you want to do something, but you think, what is it that I want to do? What do I want to make? And with the card over there, I thought that was just so cute. Is that done on this Glowforge also? It just happens to be paper?
So this is actually done with our Cricut, which is also very similar to the Glowforge, except it's just a blade. So it only cuts things like paper and items like that. So for example, this was cut using the Cricut blade. We just put in the file of what we wanted like cut out from the card, and then we also gave it the settings for like the rectangle color in the back, and then we just slide in the colored card.
So pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This was part of, because we do host workshops and events.
Oh.
So this was part of our Valentine's Day event where people were able to customize the front of this card with whatever they'd like, and then
that's
they could put
nice.
in the little colored piece in the back.
You can really make it personal and put the person's name that you're giving the card to or whatever.
Yeah.
That makes it really special.
Mm-hmm.
So you have events, little
Yes.
workshops and things. How would our viewers get connected to that?
Right. So if you're not like a student of Moraine Valley, like just a general regular community member, we ask that you email either me or Dan, and then we'll put you in, we'll sign you in for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get a pretty big turnout for those events?
They are always booked,
Yeah.
almost always booked.
Because you
yes.
can probably only allow so many people.
Yeah.
Because you only have so many spots to have people.
Yeah.
Is it difficult on a regular basis to make an appointment, or you kind of have some open spaces?
So it really depends on if there's a holiday coming up, let's say Christmas, then it gets really busy. Everyone wants to make gifts.
Yes.
Other than that, I'd say it's a bit regular where we get like about 1 or 2 appointments per day, which is still, that's a bit of people. But yeah, during like big holidays or, any celebrations, it starts getting...
Yeah, graduation coming up, I'm sure.
Yes.
Speaking of graduation, you can take your students' graduation cap, it looks like, and kind
Yeah.
of personalize it there.
Yeah, so we hosted a workshop for our graduates to customize their graduation cap. So we had a lot of graduates coming in with designs already in mind or no design in mind, and they're just, I don't know what I can do, tell me what I can do, right? And so we'll give them a whole list of things and ideas so they can customize their cap.
Okay, so that's kind of like a thing that, some of the people graduating want to do. They don't want it just a plain hat.
Yeah.
They want to jazz it up a little bit. Okay, well, that's fun, and that's a real professional way to do it instead of, just bedazzling it yourself.
Right, yeah. Because of the Cricut and stuff that we offer, it's very precise and controlled. So you get some really nice, clean-looking designs.
Yes. And readable,
Yes.
so people looking down at the group of graduates can read that.
Yes.
I want to talk about this for a minute too, because this was 3D printer also.
Yes.
And when they have, like a moving part, is that done separately? Like
Yes.
Each piece is done separately, but yet it fits so perfectly. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, so the way we would do it, like for example, this pumpkin, the pieces on its face here, they were all printed separately. And then we just take some glue and stick it on, and then it's
Got a
complete.
pumpkin forever. You
Yeah.
never have to go buy a pumpkin. You got one.
Yeah, we use this in the lab for Halloween. We fill it up with candy so that people that are coming in can
Oh, that's nice.
take a piece. Yeah.
That's really great. Is there anything we didn't talk about down there that I'm missing out on?
Well, some more general use things. You can 3D print like cups, different holders. Like for example, this is holding a bunch of different scissors. We have some fun animals here that are 3D printed as well.
Yes.
These-
And movable. I mean,
Yeah,
you can play
absolutely.
with them.
Yeah. I'd say like our toys and kind of trinkets like these are one of our most popular 3D print requests. They're just so cute, right? Everyone wants them.
Yeah, they do. And that little dog or wolf or whatever it is.
Yeah. This is another
Yeah.
one. So
Look at his legs even move around and stuff. He's, that's really fun. If you wanted to make something for, a family member.
Yeah.
Or you just like to do it.
yeah, something for the kids. Yeah, it's always great seeing what people bring in.
It is.
Yeah.
Klaudia, is there anything else that anyone should know before they venture out and start going to the Maker Studio?
So I'd say you can come in with no information at all, and I am happy to teach everything that you see here. But if you're looking for resources online, I do have some recommendations on YouTube. So for the Cricut and the sublimation printing, Jennifer Maker, she teaches a whole variety of different projects that you can kind of do. For laser cutting, Glowforge has an official YouTube channel that has like tips and tricks and kind of some intro beginner projects to learn from. And then for 3D printing, the YouTube channel 3D Printed Zone has a introduction, kind of like 3D printing 101 video that is very concise with all the information.
Yeah, that might be helpful to kind of look at some of that before you go in, because then you have a little bit of
an idea. Yeah.
Knowledge. Yeah, but look, you can go home with something like for your patio or your porch, or you're welcome to the neighborhood, or the things you can do is really endless, and it's not that difficult, right?
No, there's always a little bit of a learning curve, but once you get over the curve, then it's kind of like everything is unlocked.
Okay.
Right? Another thing about the lab is that everything in there is completely free to use. So our materials that we have is free to use. The only catch I would say is if you're 3D printing something large scale, depending on the project, we may ask for you to provide like the plastic, because we are limited on what we have as well.
Got a budget?
Yeah. And for sublimation, for example, like T-shirts, you would have to bring in your own sublimation T-shirt.
Or your mug or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But basically, the other materials are free of charge, which is pretty great, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds wonderful. Well, Klaudia, this has been so interesting, and I imagine that there's a lot of people out there that would like to come in and do that. And like I said, it makes a great gift. You can make something for yourself and learn something new. I think it's important to, as you go through life, learn something new, and be able to do something that's different.
Yeah. My whole thing with the lab is that I really want it to be accessible for people, so that anyone can try something new without there being like the hurdle of, spending $1,000 on materials and a new machine. That's a really steep, cost, especially if you end up not liking it, right?
Right.
So the lab, I really try to keep everything just, it's all about accessibility for everyone.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching PHTV4. See you next time on Meet with Moraine. Bye for now.